think that you're expecting me to be normal. All my friends do.
Hey y'all, I'm back. So this is a conversation I've been wanting to have for a while. I watched this amazing documentary on Netflix, Dancing with the Devil, and I never talked about it. Y'all know all thing cults. I'm your girl. If you haven't seen it, I have a whole discussion on cults on YouTube with some other fabulous women. Check it out. It's a 2-hour conversation. It's amazing. All things cults, different documentaries, things that we've seen, different experiences. It's amazing, right? I'm highly fascinated, right? As a life coach, as a former social worker, as a mental health professional, as a student of human nature, of psychology, I'm very fascinated with cults. I had never heard of this when it was on TikTok. I don't hang out on TikTok like some of y'all. It's too much for me. So I take breaks all the time, which is why y'all see me coming and going. So whenever this happened, whenever this went down, I was not on TikTok. So I was not aware of it. I love the fact that this cult got outed from social media. I think it's incredibly dope. I believe it's still running. I hope that it's not running as efficiently because it was outed on social media. So anybody who wants to find out anything about it can. I love that. I know originally they were talking about the two sisters, Miranda, and all of this stuff. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I tried to follow up like after I watched it, and it seems like she's still in the cult. I found it fascinating that she's still involved after all this heat. And I actually found it fascinating that they wanted her to still be there and they didn't like kick her out or something because she bringing too much heat to them, messing with their money. Like, after this happened or even during this happened, it seems like so many of the kids that were a part of it left, right? Now, the scene that I showed is probably one of the most powerful scenes when we talk about trauma that I've seen in a long time on TV, right, in the media. And that's why I showed that. I thought the Lee sisters, I thought their story, they were the first as far as we know, because there could be more. They were the first. So by the time, Mr. Cult Leader got across Miranda and the dance kids, he was already practiced and he practiced on them, essentially. That is what happened. I thought this was a fascinating scene because if you don't understand the different perceptions, right? How I can look at a situation and see it one way, and you can look at the same situation and see it an entirely different way. This scene, it was episode 2. This scene in the documentary showed it. You have one sister that's like, look, I'm healthy and whole. Well, at least I'm working on it, right? I'm getting it together. What's wrong with you? This woman was essentially a sex slave. She was essentially a sex slave. She was working for free. She was in the same room for free. In the same room. She was having sex with this man at his demand who was married for over 10 years. I don't know if you ever get over that. And I'm sure there are people like, well, she could have left at any time and she did eventually leave, right? You don't understand how powerful our minds are. And I'm not even going to go into all of that. Study cults, study how they really emotionally and mentally hook people, and spiritually using religion to hook people, right? That you're so invested at that point that like even when you can leave, you don't even know which way is up or down, right? So she went through this for over 10 years. It's amazing that she has any sanity left in her bones, right? It's amazing that she knows how to talk, walk, operate in the real world with everybody else outside of, and when I say real world, I mean outside of the world that she was living in, right? And I think it's very, real for her sister to be like, get it together. Like everybody else can pull it together. Why can't you just pull it together for, in this case, they were talking about her son's birthday party. Like, get it together, right? It's very real, right? Because she's appears to be a fully functioning adult. Appears. And the way her sister was able to describe, I am not fully functioning. Yes, I am here, but I am not really here. And I can't do the things that you all can do. I can't process things the way that you all process things, right? And the way that she was able to speak to her truth and to speak to her trauma, you gotta watch it. It was that alone, even if you don't want to watch the whole documentary, but that part of it was really the most touching. Miranda and all that, yeah. But that right there was real. That was raw. And if anybody has dealt with any type of trauma, now trigger warning, right? You might be triggered. If you can, if you're up to it, watch this. If anybody is working with anyone, has any family members, friends, right? Anybody that you're close to who has experienced trauma, watch this and it'll help you. Even though the trauma is different, right? But it'll help you understand trauma, and it'll help you understand how somebody who has been traumatized, how they process and see the world very differently than you, because they are seeing through a traumatized lens. They are seeing through their fear. They are seeing through their pain. They are seeing through their hurt. They are seeing through their unhealing, where you might be more whole, you might be more healed. And so it's hard to kind of reach back and understand what it is that they're going through and why they can't just pull it together, why they can't function as a quote unquote normal, whole, healthy human being. Very powerful. But I would love to hear from you all. I thought that this documentary was really well done. Again, I like how they showed the current, like you're thinking this is it with the dance kids, and everything that they're showing, right, is typical of cults, right? The mind control, using the religion, removing you from your friends, your family, your loved ones, right? Who can tell you like, hey, what's going on here? You're not acting like yourself. You're not you. This doesn't feel right. You need to come on home, removing you from that, using sex as control, taking your money. It's crazy. Like literally they taking all your money, taking your sanity, taking your mental health, taking you away from God or whatever you're believing, because they're turning it up against you. They're using something that is so incredibly important to you and turning it upside down. So now you don't even know what is what. You don't even know what you believe anymore. It's the saddest thing. And again, I've never been in a cult. I have experienced working with people who have been in cults, and it's just one of the most traumatic, one of the saddest things that you will ever see. Because of no fault of your own, you ended up in this horrible situation and you don't know how to get out. And then you don't know how to talk about it because you're further victimized by people who don't understand, because, well, you should have just left. How did you end up there anyway? Well, you must be stupid. What's wrong with you that you didn't see that coming? And I'll say again, how many of you all have been scammed? How many of you all have found yourself in situations where you're like, how the heck did that happen? I'm a college educated. I got a PhD. I got all this education, right? All the things. And I still believe this. And I still fell into this situation. You ended up with a narcissist. You ended up with a man who was having sex with you to sleep on your damn sofa. I mean, how many of us, right, have been in these situations where we're like, oh my God. And if you have, then you can understand how somebody can end up in a cult. It might not be your story, but you can understand how that can be someone's story. So really fascinating documentary. Definitely check it out. Definitely check out this scene. And unsadly, there's no happy ending at the end. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope it's dissolved. I hope they catch these guys. I hope they lock them up. But at least their name is tarnished for now. So let me know your thoughts below, and I will see you all next time. Peace.